Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards coming at you with another Top 20 Magic the Gathering video. This time we're going over the 10 CMC cards, or mana values. Let's get into this. First off, we got Ulamog's Dreadsire. 10 generic for a 10/10 creature Eldrazi with Vigilance. Ward, sacrifice a permanent with mana value 1 or greater. Tap, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. So let's talk about it. This is a newer card, having come out in Modern Horizon 3 Commander set. It's a very unique individual card. A lot of these 10 drops have to do something. They're either an Eldrazi, because Eldrazi is popular, or they're a very good card. In this case, it's both. Okay, so 10 for a 10/10 with Vigilance is fine. But you wouldn't play it, you know. Ward, sacrifice a permanent with mana value 1 or greater. That's pretty good. A lot of people aren't going to target Ulamog's Dreadsire if they know they have to sacrifice one of their big guys. They can't sacrifice a land. They can't sacrifice one of their small tokens. They have to sacrifice something that has meaning to it, which is great. Following this up, you can tap this creature and create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. So if you have a way to give it haste, if you're running Boots or Greaves, plop them right on Ulamog's Dreadsire, 10/10. If you're playing an untapped deck, boom, bunch of 10/10s. Problematic all of a sudden. People have to remove this. If you just cast this card and pass, people have to remove this. This card's good in so many decks as a top end. It's also not an Eldrazi, one of the few that don't have one of the few expensive ones that doesn't have a cast trigger. What this means is that you can really push to just reanimate this card. Fantastic reanimator target, especially in a colorless deck. Not that there's a lot of ways to reanimate stuff in colorless decks. There's a few probably, but I digress. The idea of Ulamog's Dreadsire to just be able to go, look at me, I have this 10/10, stop me or I get another 10/10 next turn. And then I'll get another 10/10. And then I'll get another 10/10. But pushing this to the nth degree, that's the lowest, right? You cast this card, no one can remove it, you get another 10/10. And now they're gotta remove Ulamog's Dreadsire, right? The upper echelons is an untapped deck that you can just keep tapping this guy and untapping it, tapping this guy and untapping it, and going, hey, look, I've got 5 10/10s. I don't care if you remove it. He did his job. And don't get me started on token decks. Again, people love token decks, as been proven by all my other videos. If you want to take a look at them, go ahead. They'll all be in a playlist that'll pop up in the little corner later on in this video. But they really do push tokens are popular. And so if you can double the amount of tokens or triple it with the White God, that'd be great. All of a sudden you're here's 3 10/10s just for one tap. Oh, I can untap it. Here's 3 more 10/10s. You can go insane with this card. And it's just gross. And there's a lot of good combo cards, like the red one, the red enchantment that deals damage equal to the power when it ATBs. That's great too. So Ulamog's Dreadsire, great card. I think it'll go up because it is a pretty new, a much newer card. So let's continue on to number 19. With Everything Comes to Dust. So this is 7 and 3 white. Here is my cat tax, as I always do. We'll give you a little longer cat tax while I read this card. So this card's from the Doctor Who set, I believe. So Everything Comes to Dust is 7 and 3 white for a sorcery with Convoke. So your creatures can tap for it either for colorless or for the color of the creature. So you have to tap a white creature to be able to get the white pips. Down you go. Exile all creatures except those that share a creature type with the creature that convoked this spell. All artifacts and all enchantments. So this card is actually a very good board wipe. Normally, honestly, the way this works is it's great for token decks, where you can tap a bunch of your tokens, and any of your creatures you don't want to lose, you can tap them, and it really just ends up paying for itself. So yeah, it shows 10 mana here, and it is 10 mana, but with your creatures being able to pay it, this becomes a one-sided board wipe, and if you're going to win... Okay, so it's a little hard to win over this, mainly because after you cast it, your creatures are tapped. So that sucks. But since it exiles all this stuff, you'll still have your creatures, and they lose their artifact ramp, their enchantment builds, and all their creatures. Downside is that if they happen to be running a creature, like if they're an elf deck and you have an elf and you tap the elf for this, it won't work. So you do kind of run into an issue where you're like, okay, can't tap this because that'll protect your stuff and I need to get rid of that guy. But you do board wipe, essentially, and that's fine. Good board wipes are good, and having one that your creatures can help do that's an exile, so it gets rid of all problematic cards, pretty useful. So I think it's good. It's not the best, but it is a good 19. Let's move up to number 18. Here we've got Deep Sea Kraken. 7 and 3 blue for a 6/6 Kraken. Deep Sea Kraken can't be blocked. Suspend 9 for 2 in the blue. So it gets exiled with 9 time counters on it, and each upkeep you remove one. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if Deep Sea Kraken is suspended, remove a time counter from it. So, although it does show 9, it's not going to be 9. So if your opponents all minimum cast 1 spell a turn, that means it goes from 9 down to 6, and then on your turn down to 5. Then 3 more for their turn, which will be for their turns, which will bring it from 5 down to 2, 1 off, and then it'll get cast. And it has haste, so that's pretty good. A 6/6 that can't be blocked is pretty good. This is also just great in any Karuga deck because it really allows you to run. So Karuga is the Hippo companion that says you have to run CMC 3 or higher. This gives you something to do every turn 3 without worry. And because it is CMC 3 or higher, so you'll be able to get this out and really just, yeah, okay, you guys want to cast spells? Cool. You are going to risk getting a 6/6 at your face, so be wary. So, not the best card, but it's good. It's fine. Like, it's a nice little add. So, moving on to number 15. So far, so okay. Or not 15, 17. Yeah, 17. So, Mirror Room Fractured Realm. So, Mirror Room Fractured Realm is 2 in a... Okay, the first room is 2 in a blue for an enchantment room. Whenever you unlock this door, create a token that's a copy of this target, that's a copy of target creature you control, except it's a reflection in addition to its other creature types. That side, pretty decent. Hits the field, make a token of a creature. Not a bad idea. You get another that either gives you an extra ETB trigger, or it gives you this really interesting card that you can continue activating. Like whatever best creature you have is really good there. Yeah, creature. Fractured Realm is 5 and 2 blue. If a triggered ability of a permanent you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So, Fractured Realm is pretty cool because it does trigger, it double triggers ETBs, but it'll also double trigger whenever this card activates. So whenever you deal damage, whenever, at the beginning of each upkeep, whenever you cast a spell, whenever you have a creature enter, stuff like that will trigger. So there are 2 ways to run this, to play this card. Early game, you cast Mirror Room and go, boom, here's another copy of my sad robot. That'll just quickly give me another ramp. Cool. And if it dies, I get to draw a card. Nice. Then, later on, you can go like, let's unlock Fractured Realm. Cool, now I can just double up my triggered effects on my commander. The other way is, oh, you drew this late game? Cool. Cast Fractured Realm for its 7-drop. As a 7-drop, it'll hit the field, and then be like, cool, now all my commander stuff is double triggered. I got some ETBs, Mirror Room, make a copy of my commander, ETB, double up my triggers. So, good late game, good early game. Very nice card. I like the rooms. I think they're very good. So next up, at number 16, is Apex of Power. So far, again, still no win cons, although very good engines. Except this card. This is not an engine. This is just a Kraken. So, Apex of Power is 7 and 3 red for a sorcery. Exile the top 7 cards. Is it 2019, 18, 17, 16? Okay. Yeah, 16. So, exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until the end of turn, you may cast the spells from among them. If the spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. So, this card is meant to really win you the game, okay? It's meant to push you to that next level. It gives you 10 mana for casting it from your hand, okay? So it's free, technically speaking. technically speaking. And it's probably best in like a mono red deck, right? But is it the best card, right? So copying it, I don't think gives you the mana. I think it just gives you more cards. But exiling 7 while you have 10 cards can probably find you a win con. And I think that's the point here. This is just like, okay, turn 10, or like if you ramped a little sooner, here's my Apex of Power. No one counters it, cool. I cast it from my hand. Let's see if I can dig for an answer. So, oh look, there's my answer. Apex of Power is won me the game. So that's the idea of it. It's meant to like try to win you the game. Copying it is interesting. Not getting this part sucks. But if you can copy it, you still have 10 mana, and then you can exile another 7. So if your commander or some type of card can copy it, at least you can dig further, which might give you a better win. Especially if your commander likes you casting stuff from exile. That might just give you more card advantage at that point. Coming up next, at 15, we have Impervious Great Worm. Impervious Great Worm is 7 and 3 green for a 16/16 worm with Convoke and Indestructible. Great recursion card. 16/16 is great. Indestructible is fine. There's plenty of ways in green to give it trample. That's great. Plenty of ways to make it unblockable. That's good. And yeah, your creatures, giving your tokens something to do is great. Giving your elves something to do is great. This is just great as like a top end for a go wide strategy. Okay, if going wide doesn't work, here's my Impervious Great Worm. Let's just tap out 10 mana. Here's a 16/16 with Indestructible. Deal with it. That's great. I think it's fun. Is it gonna win you the game? No. If you recur it, will it win you the game? It can be annoying. Getting this guy out after like dropping it in your graveyard on like turn 5 is so annoying. It's Indestructible. Cool. I have to use swords. I'm not in white. Great. Let's hope I draw. I'm in red. Cool. Let's hope I can spin it away and not give them something better. Bounce it back to there and cool. They'll just recast it eventually, but that at least protects us for now. At least it doesn't have haste. Oh wait, you're running boots? Of course you are. So, really good 15 drop. You're not going to see a lot of these cards. Normally, okay, so number one, you're not going to see a lot of 10 drops in most Commander games. But they're fun. And I think it is about time we bring 10 drops back to the game, guys. More of these fun, ridiculous, giant 16/16s. And this one's great because it doesn't cost 16 lands or 16 artifacts. It focuses on, oh, you're running a creature deck? Put this card in there. If you're doing a go wide creature deck, Impervious, or a graveyard deck, Impervious will be great. The reason it's here, though, again, is tokens. People love tokens, and tokens can help tap for this. Your tokens, because they do have colors tied to them, can tap all. You can tap 10 white, or you can tap 10 green elves and just go, here's my Impervious Great Worm. Now, even if you board wipe and it's not an exile board wipe, I'm still good. So. Number 14, Storm Herd. 8 and 2 white for a sorcery. Great X 1/1 white Pegasus creature tokens with flying, where X is your life token. So this card is life gain. It's a life gain card. Life gain is a very popular strategy. So if your life is at 80, for 10 mana you get 81 ones with flying. And then you go pass. And if they can't stop you, you just took out 2 opponents if they haven't already been damaged. On top of that, you might be in a red deck where the 80 just hit the field and go 80 damage somewhere. Pretty good. There's no cheap way to do this, but it is life gain. Even in a non-life gain deck, you can cast this card and get like 30 of them. I don't think that's where this card should be. I think this card is only really good in life gain decks, and even then, I think it's pushing it. But casually, I really like, I win next turn, stop me. That is where I like to be casually. I love that, like, oh, I Storm Herd, no one countered me, cool. Board wipe, or you guys will die next turn. Because I have 80 guys. Can't, scoop. Right? Like, or make a deal with me or something. I like being in that place. That's those ultimatums. Like, you have to stop me or you lose. but you each get a turn to stop me or try to win. I think that's fun. So, kind of cool 14. Number 13 is Desolation Twin. This is 10 generic for a 10/10 Eldrazi. When you cast this spell, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. This is a classic Eldrazi. Cast it, make 2 10/10s. Not bad. I think the other one, Desolation, the original one, this guy, what was his name? Ulamog's Dreadsire is better. But this one's more popular because it's been around a lot longer. So, is it good? I mean, it's good in Eldrazi decks. You gotta double up the cast triggers, which doesn't normally happen. So you're just gonna end up with 2 10/10s, which is fine, but I think it's a little overplayed. There's better 10/10s nowadays. So, as a 13, I think it's a little pushy, but you know, over the last 2 years, I get it. It's popular. It's a good card. I'm not saying it's bad. 10 mana for 2 10/10s isn't bad. Especially like in a colorless Eldrazi deck where you're like, yeah, here's my big guy. Boom. So, not awful, but not great. Number 12 is Ancient Stone Idol. 10 generic for a 12/12 golem with flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. Trample. When it dies, create a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample. So, here's the construct. It's just kind of like it crumbled over, which is kind of funny. Yeah, that's just the head. So it's just a big, like, it doesn't do as much damage, but it is still pretty tough. So is Ancient Stone Idol good? Yes, kind of. So this spell costs 1 less for each, to cast for each attacking creature. So even if they're not attacking you, you can technically cast this card for free. If someone swings 10 1/1s, you can just go Ancient Stone Idol. But it's not like it protects you. It's just saying, if you don't kill me, like, you can just go, oh, don't swing out on me. You know, I don't got much to do. Hit them. They're more scary. They do that. They're swinging like 10 or 8 creatures all of a sudden. You just pay 2. Here's my 12/12 with trample. You just tapped out. I'm going to hit you next turn. And even if someone removes it, you have a 6/12, which is still scary. So, I get why it's here. It's also an artifact, which is popular. And you can technically also cast it on your combat, so if you're attacking with 10 creatures, you can just cast this card for free. And a free 12/12 is that can, with trample, that can that replaces itself upon death for a 6/12 isn't bad, not at all. And again, token Dex. If it dies, you get 2 6/12. Okay, number 11, Time Stretch. Time Stretch, classic. 8 and 2 blue for a sorcery. Take 2 extra turns after this one. Or target player takes 2 extra turns of this one. There's no better feeling. I mean, there might be. But there's one of the worst feelings you can have is casting a Time Stretch and someone redirecting it to themselves. Oh, target player? Cool. Yeah, I'm going to make that me. I hate it. It's awful. But it's happened. So, this is your classic, like, this is when people think extra turn spells, this is what they usually think of. 10 mana for 2 extra turns is insane. If you don't win the game after that, you're not good at Magic. Or you're running a deck that uses time spells as extra land spell turns, which I've seen. So, 10 mana to go up 2 lands? That's terrible. So, yeah, Time Stretch is fine. It's a great card. It's fine. I mean, it's extra turns. I don't really play extra turns unless it's like my 1 extra turn deck. And in that case, that's just to win the game. Like, my extra turn deck hits an extra turn and just goes, okay, cool, I'm just going to win. You guys want to scoop? And I think decks like that are fine as long as you're upfront about it. So, let's get to the top 10. Commit to Memory. So, commit is 3 and a blue for an instant. Put target spell or non-land permanent into its owner's library, second from the top. Great interactive spell. A little expensive, but second from the top is annoying. Memory, though, 4 and 2 blue for a sorcery with Aftermath, so cast a spell only from your graveyard, then exile it. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into the library, then draws 7 cards. So, the idea is you commit, then they draw their card, and it gets to your next turn, and then you to memory. And then they go like, crap, I don't have my card. So you get rid of the most problematic non-lands, permanent or spell, and then just go, nope, it's gone. Most times you'll see this card is in wheel decks. Memory is a wheel, so any deck that needs to just draw 7 cards to trigger effects, we'll put this there. And that's about all you're going to see it in, but it's a good wheel because of that commit. Outside of wheel decks, it's not bad. You get 2 good effects, even if memory gets dropped into the graveyard. Like if you're a self-mill deck, memory's fine. You just get to refill your deck. If you're a mill everyone deck, that's the same thing, but although it does affect your opponents, so that's not great, unless you exile the graveyards, in which case then screw them. But yeah, each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into the library, yeah, then draw 7. So great wheel card. Wheel decks are very popular, that's why it's there, and then commit just gives you a secondary thing to do. So the reason why it's at number 10, it's a good wheel card. Number 9, another very new card at Commander Masters, Flare of Loyalties. This is 8 and 2 colorless for a 10-tailed Eldrazi. When you cast this spell, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. Until end of turn, it has base power and toughness 10/10 and gains Trample, Annihilator 2, and Haste. This card itself has Annihilator 2 and Trample. So, what this does is on cast, so even if they counter it, the ability is still in the stack. It steals any creature. Honestly, which creature you steal, doesn't matter. This gives you an insane 10/10 that will hit them for damage because of Trample, will force someone to sacrifice 2 permanents, and will do it because it has haste. So it's a great steal card. It then, the following turn, has Annihilator 2 and Trample itself. It cannot attack the turn you cast this spell, but if no one removes it, you're going to be annoying. Yeah, this is like a new classic Eldrazi, where you're doing a lot for a little. And that's kind of the whole point. Yes, it's 10 mana, but if you're running it, you know you can cast it. And that's why it's there. Casting this, stealing a card, putting down whoever's ahead of you, or second place if you're in first, whoever's the biggest threat at that point, to you, down 2 cards, so they either lose 2 lands. I mean, if they got tokens, then maybe don't target them, because they'll just sacrifice them. But hitting someone for 10 damage then, or a little less if they want to jump block some stuff, or reduce the damage with some blockers. But if no one removes it, you got another Annihilator 2. So, pretty annoying. I can see why it's there. Also, again, Eldrazi's are just popular cards. So, number 8, Ulamog the Defiler. I hate this card. But 10 generic for a 7-tailed Eldrazi. When you cast a spell, to specifically exile top half. Okay. Spell, target opponent exiles half their library, rounded up. Exile the top half of the library, rounded up. Ward, sacrifice 2 permanents. Ulamog the Defiler enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on equal to the greatest mana value among cards in exile. Ulamog has an Annihilator X, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on. This card is gross. So on cast, you just take someone out of the game. Oh, that's my problematic opponent. Exile the top half of your library. The reason why you take someone out is because for the most part, you probably took out most of their good cards. Or at least half of them. Half the cards they need to make their deck work. And that's so annoying. Next, to remove it, you do have to sacrifice 2 permanents, which is just, that's 3 for 1-ing. That's so annoying in a multiplayer game. Next, yeah, I mean, like, minimum, you're going to get, like, 2 counters on it, but probably 5 if you exile someone. You're going to target the person with the highest CMC. You're like, oh, you're a green deck. Let's just exile yours. Oh, you got a 10/10? Cool. You got a 10 drop? Cool. Here's 10 counters on my guy. Now it's a 17/17. And it has Annihilator 10. Not to mention it being in a 1/1 counter deck, which you can then bolster the 1/1 counters so that you have higher Annihilator, because it's equal to the 1/1 counters, not the cards exiled. That is not the cards exiled. That'd be annoying. That'd be like 40. No, thank you. But yeah, if you don't remove this card, it's implorable that this gets removed before they attack. Otherwise, the person's gone. Oh, I got 5. Cool. Annihilator 5? My 12/12's coming at you? Well, I can chump block the 12/12, but Annihilator 5, I'm out of the game. Because I got to keep my lands because they're hard to get back. So let's sacrifice these 3. And I got to block some of the damage. So I got to keep a creature. Let's sacrifice. Yeah, like, it's annoying. It's obnoxious. No one likes it. I feel bad playing it. I pulled it. I sold it. I just couldn't. I just couldn't play it. I tried it. The one time I did it, I felt so bad. I just stopped. That being said, it's a good card. I just hate it. So, that's number 8, I believe. Organic Extinction is 8 and 2 white for sorcery and improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. Destroy all non-artifact creatures. You just put this in artifact creature decks. This can usually cast for 2 white, and it just removes all those cards, and then your artifacts stay. So yeah, artifact creature decks. Otherwise, I just honestly wouldn't run it. But yeah, any artifact creature deck will run this. It's a great way to just kind of win the following turn. This does say I win the next turn if you can't stop me, right? So great. I like it. I think it's interesting. So going on to number 6. 1 second. I was correct. Going on to number 6. Jin-Gitaxias Core Augur. This is on the game change list. 8 generic, 2 blue for a 5/4 Praetor with Flash. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7, which just basically means they don't have a maximum hand size, so they have to discard their hand at the end of each turn. Yeah, this card's annoying. It has a $300 copy because it's serialized, but is it good? It's not fun, and I don't like running it for that. So I like the Praetors. I think Praetor decks are fun because there's enough to do it nowadays. What Jin-Gitaxias Core Augur does is, like, it comes down with Flash. So you can hold up your mana in, like, a sneaky way. Like, okay, I got control, I got counter spells. No one does anything on your end step. I'm going to Flash Jin-Gitaxias in. Hey, look, it's at your end steps. You do have to discard down to 0 cards. Then it gets to your turn. You play your turn. At the beginning of your end step, you draw 7 cards. And then it just gets removed. There's no protection on it. Someone just removes it. And if no one does, then no one's going to have fun. So if people are running removal, it's not good. If people aren't, it's not fun. So if you're in a middle ground where you can cast this card and hold up counter magic to protect it, or some way to give it Shroud or Hexproof right on their turn, I don't know. It's fine. It's a fine card. It's a fine number 6. I think there's a lot better cards. This doesn't win you the game, and it doesn't really stop your opponents from winning the game. The best thing about this is if you cast it on your opponent when they're going, I'm going to go into my end step. Anyone have any responses? You cast this card. If no one removes it, then their end step, they lose 7. They lose their hand, which can take them out of the game. So it could one-person card out of the game. But that's about it. So I just don't think it's as good as it used to be. So, but yeah, it's number 6. Number 5. Kozilek, the Great Distortion. We're at the top 5, guys. 8 and 2 generic for a 12/12 Eldrazi. Who would have thought? When you cast this spell, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. You usually cast this card and draw like what? Anywhere from like 4 to 7 cards usually. Menace, that's pretty fun to hit people with. Discard a card with mana value X, counter target spell with mana value X. It's pretty good, honestly. It was one of the original colorless commanders, which is why it's so popular. It's still built to this day, just because it gives you something to do. It fills your hand on cast, and just allows you to control the field and protect it. As a card itself, it's, again, fine. I don't think it wins you the game, but it is a good control piece, and you can really use it to stop your opponents from doing things you don't want them to do. Oh, you're going to board wipe? I got a 4-drop to stop that. So, oh, you want to cast a 2-drop that might hurt me? I'm going to stop that. So, people see this card hit the field and go, ah, great, now we're going to deal with Kozilek. So, which does its job, and it's a popular guy. So, number 5 makes sense. Ulamog, the Ceases Hunger, another one of the big guys. 10 generic for a 10/10 Eldrazi. When you cast this spell, exile 2 target permanents. So on cast, you get 2 removals. That's great. Indestructible. That's annoying. Whenever Ulamog, the Season's Hunger, attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards to their library. Okay. Again, you attack someone, there's a high chance you just took them out of the game. Oh, there's all my card draw engine, and oh, there's all my ramp, or there's my point of the deck is just gone. So, it's really annoying. You get to get rid of 2 cards, and then it's just kind of mean. So, another card I don't like. I don't like exiling people's top cards, unless it's like very specifically explained that that's what my whole deck is about, right? But I think it's rude, because they can't do it. Like, okay, milling people is one thing. Milling people tells them, hey, you better have graveyard recursion. Oh, you don't? Well, that's on you. Every deck should run graveyard recursion. I know it's really tough to test for graveyard recursion, but you should run graveyard recursion, because it will get removed. This is not graveyard. It's just gone forever. Sorry, not sorry. Number 3. Apex Devastator. I love this guy. 8 generic and 2 green for a Tintin Chimera Hydra. Cascade, 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 Cascade. That's 4 cascades. That means you exile until you find a card with less mana and cast it. And then do it a second time. And then do it a third time. And then do it a fourth. So you get 4 cards. 1 per head minus the 1 head, which I would assume is itself, because you cast it plus 4 cards, so that's 5 heads. So it's also a Tintin, which is cool. But yeah, you'll get some good stuff or not. Just put it back in your hand and recast it. Try again. I love it. I've built decks where you do just bounce this card back to your hand and recast it. It's fun. It's a very fun card. I think it gives. A lot of times you could win off of this. You could also just get like 4 ramp spells off of it. That's fine. Bounce it back and cast it again. It's cheaper this time. So, I like it. I think it's really fun, honestly. So, it's a fun 3-drop. It's not a great card, but it's not bad. Number 2, Omniscience. 7 and 3 blue for an enchantment. You may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. First card that you'll see here that just wins you the game. It just says, hey, I can cast my spells for free. No one countering it. Cool, I'm going to win. That's what Omniscience does. It just wins you the game, and that's why it's here, and that's the whole point of it. And yeah, like, cheat this card out of the field and win the game. That's the point. So, this is the first card out of all of them that I say this wins you the game. Some of them are player removal. The Ulamogs are player removal. Some of them have good card advantage. Omniscience just wins the game and says I win. At number 1, Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. 10 generic for a 12/12 Eldrazi. When you cast a spell, draw 4 cards. So it doesn't matter if you have a lot of cards in hand, you just draw 4. Annihilator 4, absolutely disgusting. And when it's put into your graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into the library, and that's why it sees the most play. What do I mean by that's why it sees the most play? What I mean is, there are decks that need to make sure that they can't get milled out. So Kozilek, the Butcher of Truth, who's just a good card, gets put in those decks. Oh no! It's in the graveyard. Now my deck. Oh, you're trying to mill me out? Cool, you can't. I just put Kozilek, Butcher and Truth in the deck. It's also just a good card, right? So even though, yes, it does just stop your opponent from milling you out, which is rude. I'll get to that in a second. It also just like, oh, it's been going on a while. Cool. 10 mana for my guy. I'm going to draw 4 cards. It's got Annihilator 4. Let's go. The reason it's not fun is because... Okay, so it's also there because I think GitRog uses it in their combo to get the perfect hand. Perfect 7 to win. So it gets points from there. It's an Eldrazi, so it gets points from there. It's just a generically good 10 drop that does a lot, which gets points there. But it also gets a lot of points for anti-mill cards. And yes, I get it. You want something to stop mill. Just remove the player. Putting this card in the deck really hinders a lot of fun that mill decks are having. I love mill. It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite mechanic in Magic. I love the feeling, the meaning of it. Removing people's past memories so that they can't find it is so fun. It doesn't stop them from playing the game like this card where they just don't have cards. No, they have cards. You just can't have those cards, right? So I enjoy mill. I think it's a very thematic feeling. Kozilek just says, yo, we're insane. So cards back in. Well, I can't beat you, so... And sure, yes, it does just mean that my mill decks just have to find a different way to do stuff. But it does mean that you cannot just win off straight mill a lot of times, and it's annoying. I think it's becoming easier because I thought more cards were removing this, decks were removing this card. But at number 1, I don't think they are. I think this card's seeing a lot of play, and it's very popular. So, yeah. Do I think the 10 drops are great? Not really. Honestly, a lot of times you're going to find yourself cutting 10 drops. Are a few of them worth it? Yeah, some of them are worth it in very specific situations. None of these cards are going to be seeing nearly as much play as like 5s and 6 drops. But in the spots that they do see play, you will definitely see play with them. And that's like the point. Kozilek is the best 10 drop. You could argue Omniscience because it does just win you the game. But like, Kozilek does more than that. Kozilek hits the field and says, I'm scary. Kozilek also just says you can't, negates an entire deck format. And it wins with a combo, so I think it just beats it out just a little bit. Plus, it's just more popular. It's an Eldrazi. Eldrazi's are popular, so let me know what you think of Kozilek Butcher the Truth down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.